The overall goal is to create an offline and online community where in the real world people actually live together and produce resources that people online can also have access to and work their way from wherever they are in the world to eventually being in an Earth Blossom community somewhere in the world, because we're starting in the United States, we're starting specifically in Arizona, but we do plan to have somewhere for people to stay in every single country on the planet. The whole idea is to empower our need to migrate with seasons and with the times, and it's just a history of man that we've kind of eliminated. Moving and changing our environment throughout the year, throughout the seasons, has been a huge part of our lives for most of the time we've been on the planet. And for the last short few, couple thousand years, we've been really stuck building places for us to live and just be tied to for our entire lives. And that's not something that I think has been studied a lot in finding out why we have so many issues with anxiety and depression, and people just feeling lost and not like people just don't feel like they are where they're supposed to be. And I think a lot of that is because we're fighting nature on a daily basis in order to try to keep up this status quo of civilization, civilized society that can stand up against nature and defend itself against nature and make sure everybody within the culture is protected from the wrath of nature. But I think we've gone too far. And we've just put nature into a corner everywhere we go. There's always nature, just look in your own yard. You always put nature into like quarantined zones where they're like at the edge of your property maybe, or there might be one tree in the middle of your backyard, or you have gardens that are, just out of the way. Whereas we could have a wild backyard. As soon as you walk out there, it's just like life, everything you need, everything your body yearns for is just there, But a lot of people don't believe in that. So a lot of people believe in evolving beyond that and not requiring nature to be whole and healthy. So that's where like transhumanism comes in, and I'm all about freedom and liberty. So if your thing is transhumanism, then go for it, Just if you don't want to be here, I get it. I mean, a lot of suicidal people are going to just want to jump into a virtual realm and never deal with this reality ever again. And I get that. I just want to make sure people realize that it can be better than the world is right now, and that's what we're striving for. We're trying to create these experiences for people to understand like where they've come from and what our real needs are, and to be able to tap into their own values and just get to know who they really are inside, because nobody even takes 5 minutes to sit in a room totally quiet, totally alone, and just get to know themselves, And a lot of people, if you put them into a quiet room by themselves for 5 minutes, they're just going to start freaking out. They're going to be like, where's my phone? Can I at least read a book? Like some people are just going to be like, I can't be alone with myself like that. And it's because their thoughts are just completely out of control. And most of the time it's that those thoughts that they're thinking of aren't even their own thoughts. They're just an accumulation of everything they've been exposed to over that previous day or previous week or previous month, previous year. People just get programmed, and all these ideas start to take up space in your mind. They take up the time that you're thinking about life, and they're, things that you be thinking about to make your life better. And they're just taking up that space. They're renting space in your mind totally for free. But that's what we're trying to build here, and that's where the value is, not just in the land that we have, but what we're going to be doing with the land. And out of 75 acres, we can honestly have about 30 different households just on these ranches we have now. And as we get people to join the community and buy memberships, we're able to expand our land. So from the memberships we get from the 30 people that can basically pioneer our land here that we have now, we'll be able to buy enough land plus help develop this current land, build structures, get a well, all these things. We'll be able to do all that stuff plus purchase more land and get enough land to get another 60 people. So we had 30 people join. We're upgrading the land, making it suitable for those 30 people. And at the same time, we're buying enough for another 60 people to come in. So then after we buy that land, 60 more people can come in. And now they're getting this land developed, plus making room for another 120 people. So you can see how it just continuously grows. And as time goes on, especially right now, we're in uncertain times. There's going to be major cost hikes especially for land. Started buying land just 3 years ago, and already just vacant property with no utilities, not within, a major city area, have quadrupled in price. And, the least performing one has doubled just for vacant land. And the thing is, when the housing market collapses, vacant land is not going to get cheaper. It might even go up because people might say, hey, I lost my house, I should just buy my own property and build my own house. And there's a lot of benefits to doing that. So anyways, that's the value. That's where all of our digital currencies are backed up. That's where all of our NFT values are backed up. They all full circle come back to things in the real world, even if they're not tied to it directly. Even like Name That Goat. The sales for those packs is going to help influence all these other projects and not just Name That Goat. So 25% immediately goes right towards, developing and maintaining Earth Blossom and getting us the resources that we need, the human resources, the materials we need to expand, services from outside people, like for getting wells installed, things like that. And, if we can get people to come stay on the land and help do some of like the fence building, like that's just a really labor intensive thing. It can be pretty inexpensive to get the materials. Materials are pretty expensive now, but it's a lot less money to just buy materials and have people help you install it. And if you can trade off, like, hey, you can earn currency to stay living on this land if you work with us doing fence installation. And I mean, we're talking about getting paid the equivalent of like $100 an hour to do work here, so that's kind of what we're shooting for. It's not just a living wage, but it's a wage to help with economic advancement